welcome to SAS Daily Podcast. Without you guys, this wouldn't be possible. And thank you guys for subscribing. We're blessed enough to have an interview with Discovery Show Dual Survival star Joe Teti, co-host of Dual Survival. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Hey, man. It's been a while. Nice to see you again. I appreciate you inviting me back.
Absolutely, man. And more importantly, you're an American hero as well.
Oh, nah, dude, nah. I just, I've never considered myself a hero. I had a very cool career in special operations, but I was just blessed being at the right time, at the right place, and God willing, I came out of it pretty much unscathed. I was very lucky.
Thank you for your service, by the way, man.
Oh, thanks, man. Cheers. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. And I know something that is very important to you is training scars.
Yeah, man. So it's kind of like a lot of people listening might wonder, what that means. And so for those of you that are listening, what a training scar is when you're learning something, whether it's how to play a sport or shoot or fitness, whatever it is, and you're learning the wrong way, right? You watch some YouTube video, right? Well, the guy's got 200,000 viewers. How can he be wrong? That kind of thing. Well, there's a lot of people out there that are wrong, that are teaching people things that will get them killed in the worst case scenario, hurt in the gym, or just plain embarrassed. Just depends on what scenario you're in. But that's a training scar, man. And I watch YouTube videos almost every other day. I'll pick a few to watch and just see what people are putting out there. And that's one of the reasons why I started my WETC course, the Warrior's Edge training course, is I wanted to teach people things that I know to be true, that work. They're time tested and proven in combat, and learned this from the best of the best, the organization I worked for. And they had an unlimited budget, so they could hire the best instructors, and so I just want to pass that on to people, because I watched some of these videos, man, and it's just, matter of fact, I'll give you one. I watched this video the other day about this guy was a police officer, SWAT officer, talking about how to clear your house, by yourself. And the scenario was he pulled up in front of his house in his car, and the door was wide open, and he goes in guns blazing, right? And I'm like, why would you do that? What? I won't even do that. If somebody broke into my house and I was outside, I would just call 911, and I'd have my gun with me. Obviously, I'd get out of my car, get behind it, and just call 911. Let the police deal with it. There's nothing in your house unless there were family members that were being accosted or hostage or something. Whatever. He heard screaming. That might be a different story. But you get and it was night. And he walks in his house with his flashlight on, and he's just everything wrong. Saying that fighting behind door frames is cover. That is not cover. A 22 long rifle will go through 10 sheets of plywood, a drywall. There's no cover in your house, right? This right here is drywall 2x4s, dude. Bullets go right through. And he's just dangerous stuff like that. That's what a training scar is, man.
Yeah, man. And I know that you also have a company, and you said this is one of the reasons why you started your course, was your WETC course. I said company, but it's your course.
Right. Yeah, well, the name of the company is Spartan Americana. And, the course that we run is called WETC, the Warrior's Edge Training Course. And it's a 3-day course here in North Carolina. It's at a 1,000-acre Boy Scout camp. I rent the whole place out. Room and food is included. You stay right there on the camp. It's 3 days, 16-hour days. I mean, long days, dude. You're at the end of the day, you're beat. You're basically eating, sleeping, and going to the course, right? And it's not like one of these beat 'em up courses like a lot of these guys that are former SEALs will run like this BUDS experience where they just keep you up for 3 days and keep you away. It's not that. This is a learning course. It's to teach you things. And so there's 20 different subject matter, from pistol to carbine to apprehension avoidance, avoiding being kidnapped, land navigation, leadership, knife combatives, all that stuff. So we go through different modules. Each module is a certain amount of time. And I'm very proud of it, man. It's one of those things where it took me about a year to put it together because I was messing around with the idea, and I'm like, you know what, I'm finally going to do this once the political climate went kaput here. You know, I'm like, all right, I'm doing it now. And we also started another buddy of mine and I, Dale Comstock, former Delta Force guy. He was in the unit I was in. We started a company called Tier 1 Performance Coaching. And so, and you can just go to the website, Tier 1 Performance Coaching. It's basically a performance coaching company for people that want to like take themselves to the next level performance wise, and not necessarily so much as physically, but mentally. Like, you know, I'm an entrepreneur, how to become a better entrepreneur. You know, things like that. We actually, one of our very first clients was a Formula One racer. And I can't tell you his name because we signed NDAs, but he actually had a really bad accident several years ago, like really bad. He showed us the video. I'm like, oh man, like flip upside down, you know, just land, you know, fire. And he didn't really get hurt that bad, but it rattled his cage so much mentally. He basically said, I could not get on the throttle anymore. Like he crashed going into a turn, and he slid off the track and rolled. And anyway, so we coach people like that, all the way down to, actually, we just got done coaching a gentleman he's 25 years old and he's going to the military. And so he wants to, you know, groom himself to get into special forces. So it's a really good program. It's eight weeks, 4 weeks with Dale and 4 weeks with me. And, you know, again, just, it's all about performance and learning things the right way. Because remember, dude, if you get taught like how to bowl, right, and you want to learn how to bowl, and you know somebody says, oh, here's how you release the ball, and here's how you do this, and it's wrong. Remember, you've started to build muscle memory, right? Especially if you start doing this for a while. Like shooting is the worst. You know, now you've got to break somebody of that habit, and then you got to teach them the right way. And what happens is normally the old habits start creeping back in. So when it comes to like shooting, like I got done training a group of people, and this one guy constantly was doing the wrong grip. He was putting he was a right-handed shooter, and he was putting his left thumb over his right thumb, which is not the way you're supposed to do it. It's supposed to be side by side. And he just kept doing it over and over, and he kept pushing his rounds to the right. And I said, that's because you're pushing your pistol with your other strong hand, your left hand, and it's pushing your rounds to the right. So it's really hard for those of you that are listening. If you're wanting to get good at something, really good at it, you had better get instruction from somebody that's an expert at it. And I don't even, you know what? I don't even like the word expert. I'm not an expert at anything. I wish I knew half of what I really want to know. I'm a student, a perpetual student, but there are some things I do know more than the average person because of my background. But for those that are listening, you really need to understand the damage you're doing when it comes to muscle memory, especially if you're doing something repetitive over and over and over, like shooting or working out. You can be doing yourself a great disservice, especially when it comes to fitness. Oh my God, bro. I see people in the gym all the time doing things like, you're going to get tendonitis from that, or you're going to blow out a shoulder, or you're going to blow out a knee, or, you know what I mean? And these are young guys your age, you know, they think they're 7 foot tall and bulletproof, and they won't feel the pain until they get my age. And then they're going to be like, oh man, what's that from? Well, that was from you trying to squat 400 pounds wrong, you know? So,
yeah, man.
I see it all the time.
Being a former athlete and playing high school basketball and stuff, you definitely seen some players like during like lifting weights and stuff not use the right technique and stuff, and that's very important.
Yeah, man. It especially when it comes to working out. My biggest thing, you know, I also own a supplement company, T1 Performance Supplements, and it's for supplements over 45 years old, because I'm 45, and we couldn't find any supplements that addressed guys my age, so we started making our own. And I tell people all the time to email us, you know, like, how old are you, and you know, what is your workout? And the first thing that I tell almost all of them, almost to the exact number of people call, is you're going to hurt yourself. When you get to my age, you know, I'm over 50. When you get hurt from doing something stupid, it takes months and months longer to heal. Matter of fact, I tore my calf, wasn't even doing anything wrong. wasn't doing heavy weight. It just, I might not have stretched enough. It was a little chilly in the gym, whatever. And I tore my calf muscle, and it took me 3 weeks before I could do calf exercises again. So, and I still feel it a little bit. So for those of you that are listening, like if you want to talk about fitness, I will be the first to tell you, if you can find a really good personal trainer, I mean, somebody that knows what they're doing, not just, hey, I went and took this ACE course and here's my certificate and, I'm a personal trainer. You want to train with somebody who's kind of been there, done that from an athletic standpoint, whether they played collegiate sports or professional sports or something, where they actually have a little bit of meat on the bone, so to speak. They're like, you're not just this, yeah, I read this manual here and I got my certificates and now that don't mean squat. I mean, it literally doesn't mean anything, in my opinion. Just because you have a certificate, here's the perfect example. My buddy Dale, right? Dale doesn't have a personal training certificate, right? But he's a doctor, right? And natural science. He's a professional, or a former professional boxer, former bodybuilder. Yeah, first degree black belt in jujitsu. I mean, his accolades go on and on. So what would you rather train with? A guy like him? He was former Delta Force operator, Green Beret. Who would you rather train with? A guy like him or some dude that's like, well, I got my ACE certification. And anybody from ACE, I'm not trying to dump on you. I'm just telling you the facts of life. You may have, or whatever certification, ACE, there's a bunch of them out there. That doesn't qualify you. It qualifies you from a standpoint of, hey, I checked that block and I've got the certificate. But if you want to compare your experience with mine or Dale's, probably going to come off the short end of the stick on that one. So, be careful for those who are listening, especially, like I said, for the gym stuff. Even if, I'll tell you what I did one time, and this is a long time ago. I was working out at this gym. I lived in Florida, right? And I was putting on a couple pounds and I wasn't working out, kind of let myself go. And I saw this dude at the gym, and he was just this epitome of fit. He just was proportioned perfectly, great body mass, very, very chiseled, had great cardio. And I walked up to him one day and I said, hey, dude, I said, I don't want to bother you, but like, I'm a personal trainer. And he said, no. He goes, I don't train anyone. I said, look, would you be willing to give me just a couple minutes when you're done working out? I'll be here. Will you give me just a couple minutes of your time and just tell me what you're doing? Because like he had these he's like huge shoulders, man. Like, what are you doing for your shoulders? And he had calves, like really good calves, which were my weak spot, were my calves and my shoulders. And so I asked him. He's like, yeah, dude. I mean, yeah. So after he was done, he went in the locker room, got cleaned up, came out. And he showed me some exercises that I wasn't even aware of how he was popping his shoulders and how he was popping his calves. So for those of you that do work out, or a lot of people don't work out because they don't know what to do, right? That's the number one reason is, well, I don't know how to work out. Well, don't let that stop you. If you see people in the gym, just be polite. Look, let me tell you, you stroke somebody's ego like that, they're more than happy to help you, right? And I did, and I got some great workout ideas from them. So that's a biggie. I don't know if you ever experienced that in sports, but
what's that?
I said, I don't know if you ever experienced that in athletics, where there's like one person that may be like really knowledgeable about something.
Yeah,
you got to tap into that person's brain.
Absolutely, man. I mean, if somebody knows how to, to be honest with you, there's some assistant coaches that I know that know more than what the head coaches know.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just because they probably just have more experience. And, I know, like, from just learning, being in special operations and at a high level, I worked with some of the most physically and mentally tough dudes on the planet, like hands down, right? Strong, fast, a lot of endurance, can suck up a lot of pain, and that's the other part of it, your mental aspect of the fitness, scarring is, are you working on your mental toughness as well as their physical? Because let me tell you something, I know plenty of guys they can bench press 400 pounds. But if you took them out in the rain for an hour and got them wet in the cold, they would kind of be like, I'm going to win. You know what I mean? They just don't have it mentally, because those are two different things, mental toughness and physical toughness. And I know other guys that they're very unassuming looking. They're not, they don't have athletic bodies, but they're tough as freaking nails mentally. They can take a pounding, dude, and they will come back and back and back. So that is a training scar that a lot of people just fail on the fitness side. Is like, yeah, man, I'm pumping iron and look at me, I'm looking good and all this, but just weak-minded. You know what I mean? So that's a training scar. You're working on half of the equation. That's my opinion.
Yeah. And also you also talk about shooting scars as well, like shooting range scars and stuff.
Dude, oh man. Yeah, we could turn this into a 10-hour freaking podcast, but so just give you a few for those of you that watch this podcast. So if you shoot, and I'm not talking about like shooting all the time, I mean just shooting for defensive purposes, right? So the first training scar that I talk about in Westy is target selection, right? And you may think, well, what the hell does that have to do? How could you pick the wrong target? Well, actually, it's quite easy. And what I mean by that is, have you ever seen the targets have the bullseyes, the concentric, the 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 0? All right, that's a training scar. If you're training for the fight, for real world, high intensity armed confrontation, my question to you is this: when was the last time you saw a person wearing a shirt that had a target painted on it with a point of aim like a center?
Never.
Ever. So when you're shooting at those type of targets, it is giving you a point of aim. Your front sight is picking up that circle right in the center, and that's your aiming. That's not real world. You're not going to have that. You're just not. You're going to see a blob, right? Your adrenaline's going to be pumping. So that's a biggie. I train with literally one type of target and one type of target only. Your standard IPSC target. That's it. It's anatomically correct. Everything's the right size, and there's no bullseye on it. It's got perforations where the A, B, and C zone are, but you can't see it when you back up 5 yards. You can't see them. So, for those of you that want to train for the fight, do not use targets, in my opinion, and I can tell you it's the opinion of a lot of guys where I came from, what we used. You don't use bullseye targets. You just don't. Those are for qualification only, right? That's it. Another training scar is train at realistic distances, right? So, I got an average size house. I'm standing here right now. I'm on the far back wall, and I'm looking into my living room, the other wall, and that may be 20 yards. And I'm back against the wall and over there. So am I going to engage somebody in my home at that distance? Ain't going to happen, dude. It's just not going to happen. You're going to be engaging people, 5 yards, 10 feet, 15 feet. It's going to be close or closer. So when you're training, train at realistic distances. There's nothing wrong with backing up and shooting and making sure all your fundamentals are working out, because the farther you move back, your shot group's going to spread a little bit. And if you're not doing all the 7 fundamentals, side alignment, side pitcher, grip, stance, breathing, follow through, and trigger press, it's going to show, right? It's going to show. But train at realistic distances. I'd also tell you this, and I learned this at my last class that I taught. And I told these people before they showed up, bring what you would be wearing while you're carrying your gun, right? So half the dudes show up with these battle belts, got a knife on it and M4 mags and pistol mags. I'm like, so you walk around with this battle belt on all day long? Is that what you're telling me? They're like, no. I said, then you need to wear your gun the way you're going to wear it. Are you going to be carrying it on your hip? Are you going to be carrying appendix? Is it going to be exposed? Like I live in North Carolina. You can carry, you don't even have to have a CCW here. You can slap a pistol on your hip and you're legal. The minute you put a shirt over it, now it's concealed. Now you have to have a CCW, right? So I would tell people watching, if you're going to train with a firearm for defense in your home, while you're walking around, train in the clothes that you're probably going to be wearing. If you're a woman and you carrying your gun in your purse, well, if you are, can you actually get to it? Can you get to it quickly? Or are you gonna be like, oh, hold on a second, don't rate me yet, hold on, ain't gonna happen. You better be able to get to it very, very quickly, right? So you gotta shake out your kit and make sure while you're wearing it, is it gonna work? You know, same with like carrying a knife, right? So I always carry a knife. If I don't have a pistol, I've got a folder on me, and I've carried the same knife for years and years. It's a Spyderco, and love them. And so it's either that or a Benchmade. But you know, I carry it in my pocket, and I always tell people, you know, it's not a fixed blade knife. You can't just pull it out and get to work. You gotta pull it out, and then you've got to engage the blade, right? It sounds easy, right up to the point where you're crapping your pants, right? And you got that adrenaline dump, and fine motor skills are going out the window, right? Fine motor skill. This is a fine motor skill. Can you deploy your knife quickly, or are you doing the same thing? Hold on. You know, it's too late. That hold on. These things happen in seconds. Gunfights, knife fight, they're over in seconds. So a training scar when it comes to that kind of stuff is, are you training with the way you carry your equipment? So all day long, I'll just be standing, I'll just pull my knife out, click, put it back, click, put it back, right? And sometimes I don't even know I'm doing it. I remember I did it the other day in a Dollar General. I was just like, click, ooh, you know, and I didn't want to scare anybody, but I was just doing it because I just do it. And that's how you get faster and better. So let me talk about this real quick. And a lot of people may wonder, well, I talked about muscle memory, right? Muscle memory when it comes to shooting, throwing a baseball, bowling, whatever it is. It's a repetitive motion that you're doing over and over and over and over again, hopefully the exact same way every time. Gun comes out, right? Comes out of the holster. It gets the center chest. As you're presenting the gun, you're taking the slack out of the trigger. You get to the wall of where the sear engages, and you either shoot or you don't shoot. If not, finger comes off the trigger, you reholster. Every 4 count, boom, 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 4 count draw, every time the same way. A lot of people say, well, how many times do you have to do something to make it muscle memory, right? Well, it's a very good question, and I've heard all kinds of different answers. I can tell you what I was told in the last unit I was at. They said 30,000 correct repetitions. So here we go to training scars. If you're drawing, if you're doing the draw and you're starting to do the bowling arm or the fishing arm, whatever the case may be, that's wrong. So you've been doing all of these repetitions wrong. So you're basically starting over because you got to untrain yourself and then do it the right way. And just to clarify something for those that are listening, there's no such thing as muscle memory. Your muscle doesn't have memory. Your brain has a memory. All you're doing is a repetitive action so many times that your body know the signals that are going to your muscles to say, I can close my eyes right now and draw and present this gun. I know when the gun's right, bam, right there, that's under mass. Because you've done it so it's not here because I feel it on my shoulder. It's not here because I feel it on my shoulder. It's right, bam, right there. That's muscle memory. You've done it so many times. It's the autonomic response that your body is reacting to from what your brain's saying. And not, oh, that's center mass. I know that ain't center mass. It's right. I feel it. Your whole body feels it's right there. I can literally blindfold myself, stand in front of a target at 5 yards and draw and hit in the A zone. Because I know when the gun is right there, that's center mass. So that term muscle memory is not muscle memory. It's just your brain has told your body so many times When you get right there, let go of the baseball, for a fastball, let go of it right here for a curve, right? That kind of thing. It's a misnomer, but you better be doing it the right way or you're creating training scars.
Absolutely, man. Have you heard of people using here in Eastern Kentucky, here in the Appalachian Mountains and stuff? We actually use pop cans as targets. Have you heard of people using them as targets, and are they a good target to use for training?
You mean like just soda cans?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I don't use it. What you're doing is they're shooting at a small target, right? A lot smaller than a human being. And like I said, that's all fine and dandy because if you're hitting it, you're doing all the 7 fundamentals because unless you're standing, point blank at the thing. But if you're standing back 10, 15 yards and you're hitting, a bottle or a can consistently, 9 times out of 10, that's fine. But what you have to understand is if you go to engage a real human being, you're not going to be seeing a can. So you've got to get, and I'll tell you another thing you need to do if you really want to get good is, and you do this safely, you know what airsoft guns are, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I've got a bunch of them. I love them. You put on some good ballistic goggles and some heavy clothing, and you can actually train force on force and draw down on somebody and shoot a round off with an airsoft gun. You can get Sims or UTGs, but those are a lot more expensive. But we used to do it all the time. Matter of fact, here, training scar, police force. I don't know if they do it anymore, but this is an absolute bullshit. I don't know who came up with this, but I've proven it on the range so many times. It's not even funny. So the police departments say that there's this 21-foot rule. And basically what that means is if you're a police officer standing 21 feet away from an assailant that has a knife or a bat or something, that if the police officer has a gun in their pistol in their holster, that they can't react fast enough before that assailant closes at 21 feet. 21 feet, 7 yards, right? Pretty close. I'm here to tell you, bro, you can do it quite easily if you practice. I can even draw slow and still get you before you're halfway. I don't know who came up with that, where that statistic came from, but any police officer that's listening, I've got a YouTube video out there right now where I'm standing 5 yards away from a target, guns in the holster, retention, Safari Land holster, just old school Spec Ops holster, and I can get a round out of my from the holster, retention, and a round on the target in under a second. So how far do you think you're going to get in 1 second from 7 yards? You're going to take about 3 steps is what it comes down to. It's again, training scar. There's no way I would not be able to stop somebody at 21 feet. I would literally have to have the worst day, get my clothing caught up in the draw. And even then I'm still going to shoot through my shirt, right? Probably cause a malfunction, but I'm going to get a round off and clear it. But yeah, training scar. I don't know where that came from, but I do know that it was out there at one time. I don't know if they teach it anymore, but I ain't buying it. And I've demonstrated it on a range. I've told guys, here's a rubber training knife. I'm going to back up, to I had my airsoft gun, and I'll say, go ahead and just come after me whenever you want. And they won't even get halfway, maybe halfway. So again, be careful what you're being told, and I'm certainly not the fastest draw in the West, but, I can get it done without even worrying about getting stabbed or hit with a bat at 21 feet. So those are huge. Then you get into tactics. Like I told you about that guy, charging in like Johnny Homewrecker at night with his pistol with a light on it, clearing his house and saying, oh, you're shooting from the doorway. That's cover. No, that's concealment. The difference between cover and concealment is cover stops bullets. Concealment hides you. A bush is concealment. A wall is concealment. But a 22 will go right through this wall. If a guy's shooting a 9mm or a 45 or 40 cal, you're getting hit. You're going to get hit. So bad. That's the get you killed training scar right there, where people get this false sense of security. Like, oh, well, that guy on YouTube said if I'm hiding behind the door frame, yeah, right to the point you get shot in the face, right? Where the guy shoots through the wall and hits you. So that is a huge training scar. Tactics. Yeah, man. Boy, again, that's a whole nother conversation, but just, it's the buyer beware. You know what I'm saying? You got to be so careful that you don't get sucked into this. Look how fast this guy shoots. And look at this. Look at all the cool gear this guy's got. Yeah. You know what? You know what the riddle of steel is, right?
What's that?
You ever heard of it? The riddle of steel?
No, I ain't never heard
it. What is the sword compared to the hand that wields it? Meaning, yeah, I got this sword, big deal. But if I pick it up and don't have a clue how to use it, it's a paperweight, right? So yeah, you gotta, they're tools, the guns and knives and other, they're tools, nothing more. They're, the real weapon is the person. It's not the gun or the knife. It's sitting there not doing nothing. It's a person who has, clarity of mind, making the right decision. Should I shoot? Should I not shoot? Right? Those are, everybody wants to avoid a gunfight, including me. I don't want to get in a gunfight or a knife fight. Somebody's going to get hurt or killed. And it's probably not going to be me. But that's stuff you want to avoid at all costs. But when you watch these things on YouTube and listen to other people train, you're just like, God, like, there's one, and I'm not going to mention their name because this guy's got a lot of money. He'd probably sue my ass into oblivion. But there is a training facility. I'm not going to say where it's at. There's a big one. I mean, this guy's got a multi-million-dollar training facility. All the bells and whistles. Beautiful place. I've been to one of his courses, one of his handgun courses, and I can honestly tell you, they taught so many, this was years ago, they taught so many wrong techniques. It was staggering. It was staggering. Everything was wrong. From the way your stance was, to the way your grip was, the way the presentation was, everything was wrong. And I'm sitting here thinking, this guy's making millions of dollars teaching these people the wrong thing. Why? Because they don't know what they don't know. Very charismatic guy, very good looking, great physique, has all the bells and whistles, but that's smoke and mirrors. You know what I mean? He looks the role, right? He never spent a day in the military. He never spent a day in special operations or law enforcement, nothing. And, buyer beware. Buyer beware. That will get you killed for sure. Guaranteed. The way he's teaching people how to shoot, that's going to get you killed because he's not teaching people how to fight the way your body is going to react in a high intensity armed confrontation. You're going to have a huge adrenaline dump. You're going to have loss of fine motor skills, auditory exclusion, tunnel vision. You got all kinds of bad shit happening at one time that doesn't really help you shoot well. They didn't even talk about that. They didn't even talk about it. Training scar, big one.
And where can people book dates for your upcoming events, upcoming classes and stuff?
Yeah, I have one more WETC course. It's the 10th, 11th, and 12th of December. If you want information on it, just you can either go to joeteti.com or to Spartan Americana. Not Spartan American, it's Spartan Americana. And you can probably put that out there on the description below if you want.
Oh yeah, it'll be in the description.
Yeah, we've got we only do 10 people at a time. We were doing 12, but it has to do with the lodging and everything. So we're doing 10 people. We've got 3 seats left for December. So it's a great course, man. I don't mean to toot my own horn, but if you go to our website, Spartan Americana, you check out the promo video and look at some of the testimonials. And I mean, we have had across the board, for everything from a preacher and his wife that owned a church, to a anesthesiologist, to a commercial fisherman, you name it, we've had them at the course. Women, we've had it's probably been about a 60-40 men, women. Like, you think women oh man, women love to go to this course, man. They're learning a lot of good life-saving skills. But yeah, December 10th, 11th, and 12th. And it's about an hour outside of Charlotte. So if you're out of state, you would basically fly into Charlotte, and then it's about a 50-minute drive. You'd rent a car and just drive to the camp. And we give you everything. We tell you where to go, what to bring, which isn't much, just some clothing. And if you want to bring some snacks with you, that's about it. We supply everything. This is a good course, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. You're going to be tired. We're not just doing 8 hours instruction. You're getting basically 45 hours of instruction in 3 days. That's
Wow.
a lot. That's a lot, dude. That's a lot of teaching. I'm beat at the end of the course, because myself and my assistant instructor, we don't get much sleep, because you got to remember, after we're getting up at 5, teaching all day till 10, 11, right? Whatever. The students, then we've got to clean up the classroom, prep for the next day, right? Get to our room. So we're getting about, I think the last class in 3 days, I got 6 hours of sleep. So I was pretty tired, man, which is great, because it's that gut check thing for me too. Sleep deprivation sucks. But anyway, I'm very, very proud of it. And I'd be the first one to tell you, I had a lot of help. I asked a lot of my friends, much smarter people than me, hey man, I'm thinking about doing this course. What do you think I should teach in it? And I got a lot of advice, especially from Dale, my buddy Dale Comstock. Superbly well-trained guy, just brilliant, smart guy. He gave me a lot of advice, and I kind of went through, because I only had so much time at 3 days. So what are the subjects that you teach in 3 days? And I narrowed it down to I think we had 30. And I'm like, that's too many, because I didn't want to just do an hour. I wanted to do at least 2 or 3 hours per block, right? So we narrowed it down to 20. And it's worked out really, really well, man. I love teaching it. I have a blast. I'm not gonna lie, man. Every time I teach the course, I'm having a good time. So, and when I see students leaving with that, dude, I feel like John Wick. I love that. It's so cool, man. Like they think they're James Bond when they leave. So, but anyway, yeah. For those of you who are interested, feel free, give us an email, give us a shout out, and we'll get right back to you. Yeah, man. Training Stars. Folks, I'm just telling you, do your freaking homework. If you're trying to learn something, and I'm not talking like, oh, I'm just doing this as a hobby. I'm talking about something that you really are going to deep dive into, fitness or shooting or whatever, or a sport that maybe your son's going to play, and you're wanting somebody to teach them how to be the best. Do your homework. Don't get caught up in some badass facility like, hey, look at this $10 million I spent on this facility. Oh, and by the way, if you actually do this in real life, it's probably going to kill you. I'd rather train in a dirt lot with one berm and one target with a guy like Dale or myself, where I'm like, all right, dude, I'm going to show you how to shoot when the crap is hitting the fan. Like, this is what is going to happen. This is what it's going to feel like. This is how you're going to react. And that's valuable. Not some fancy training facility that, and unfortunately that sucks a lot of people in. They see a lot of fluff, a lot of good verbiage on the website, right? A lot of testimonials. Yeah, testimonials can be faked. That's why my testimonials are actual videos of people like at the course. It's not, yeah, Joe's the best, really anybody can write that. So, just do your homework. Just do your homework. It's hard-earned money spent, right? That's the way I look at it, bro.
I know there's also survival scars as well.
Oh man, yeah. And let me tell you, I was guilty of a lot of them. Self-admittedly, after once I got on dual survival, I had basic knowledge of survival. Like special operations guys aren't survival experts, right? They're just not. If you're rubbing sticks together on a mission, you got screwed up so bad, you're probably not going to survive anyway, right? You're going to have a lighter or a ferrous soda. You're going to have something besides sticks. It's a sexy little trick, right? But yeah, survival scars, dude. I learned working, especially with Matt Graham, Cody, obviously, a very talented, both of those guys, very talented survival guys, dude. They probably top 3 best in the world, right? In the world when it comes to survival. They've forgotten more about that shit than I'll ever know. But working with guys like that, it kind of rubbed off on me. So where I was maybe a 2 or a 3 on a 1 to 10 scale, I got to maybe a 7 or an 8, maybe. They're 10s. I wasn't near where they were. But yeah, a lot of survival scars, dude, and people don't realize, and I've said this many, many times, Joe, what kills you in a survival situation? Here's a perfect example. What kills you? What really kills you in a survival situation? I'll tell you what kills you. It's not that one big, oh shit, look what I just did. That's not what kills you. What kills you is this little mistake connected to this little mistake. For example, I'm a guy, I decide to go hiking in the Uwharrie forest. It's November, I want to go for a hike. I'm just going for a few hours. Don't tell anybody where I'm going. Mistake 1. Wow, it's really warm outside, so I'm just going to bring a short sleeve shirt and, bottle of water. Mistake number 2, you didn't check the weather. Well, guess what? Then you get out there, you're hiking, and you go, oh, what's over here? You get off the trail. Mistake number 5, and now it starts raining. Oh, I didn't check the weather. Oh, I don't have any, rain gear. Oh, and I have no way to make a fire. Oh, and it's night and I can't find the trail to get out of here. Oh shit, right? Mistake. And now you're getting rained on in a short sleeve shirt with 1 bottle of water. You have no way to make a fire. You're getting hypothermia for sure. For sure. So that's how people die in survival situations. It's not the big, oh shit, I didn't see that elephant step on me. It's all these little mistakes. And then you get hammered. So training scar, people just think it's one big mistake. No, sir, no, ma'am. It's multiple little mistakes. I mean, unless you walk off a cliff or something stupid. I mean, yeah, no kidding. That's game over. But I'm just talking about the decision-making process that puts you there in the first place is, oh, I forgot. Oh, I forgot. Oh, I forgot. Oh, I thought you brought the food. Oh, I thought you brought the lighter. Oh, you don't have the map. Oh, shit. Right? Now you're in a world of hurt. So training scar for sure, survival. The other thing, and I did this not long ago, man, an acquaintance of mine, we were talking about dual survival, and he's like, dude, all that stuff's really cool, but I mean, how hard can it be? And I said, I'll tell you what, I'll make a bet with you. I said, I'll bet you $20. It hasn't rained in like a week and a half. Everything's dry as a bone. I said, I will give you an hour to, and he says he knows how to do all this stuff, right? Friction fire stuff. I said, I'll give you an hour to start a fire. I said, you start a fire, I'll give you $20. Dude, an hour later, he's got blisters all over his hands, sweating. Like, yeah, looks easy, don't it? It's training scar. You are not going to start a fire just because the wood's dry. See, I thought, here's what plays into that. You have to get the wood up to a certain temperature to get that ember, right? 600 degrees or 800 degrees. I can't remember the exact number. But you got to have the wood's got to be a certain hardness. It's got to have a certain grain to it. The ambient air temperature, is it moist outside? Are you at a certain altitude? Like when Matt and I were in Peru, we're like 14,000 feet, not a lot of oxygen, right? What fuels a fire? Oxygen, right? So for those of you like, yeah, I'll just rub some sticks together and make a fire. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not going to do it. I'm just telling you flat out. I worked with the best in the business. These guys live it. Cody and Matt live that lifestyle. They are experts. And when you see those guys fail, what do you think the chances are? Zero. You are not going to pull it off. So training scar, yeah, just rub some sticks together, make a fire. Dude, you have a better chance of playing pickup sticks with your butt cheeks. It's going to happen. It just ain't going to happen. Looks cool on TV, right? But it's not as easy as it looks. They make it look easy because guys like Cody and Matt are experts. They've done it thousands and thousands of times, and they still fail. Right? So yeah, man, survival, that's a whole nother thing. And like I said, I was guilty of it. I was guilty of sin, thinking that, I had, well, yeah, man, that's what I learned when I was in special forces. That's what I read in the survival manual. Dude, as well as I do, the book answer isn't always what boots on the ground mean, right? I will tell you this, for those of you that have never been in the woods at night, you can get spun around so fast at night, it will scare the shit out of you. You take a few steps, and I mean a few steps in the wrong direction, and you try to get back to where I just left my backpack. Where is it? And you don't have a light. Good luck. Because everything in the woods at night looks exactly the same. It just does. It's pitch black and there's trees, right? You're not, unless you have a lot of moon, and heaven forbid if you're in the jungle. You're in triple canopy jungle, you literally cannot see your hand in front of your face. I've been in the jungles of Vietnam, Peru, Sri Lanka, Panama, Thailand, the Philippines. You literally cannot see your hand in front of your face when you're in triple canopy jungle. And if there's no moon, dude, you might as well lock yourself in a closet blindfolded. That's about what you're going to see. Scary places. And that a training scar, you'll think, well, I'll be fine. You're going to be panicking. Okay. Trust me, you're going to be panicking. Even shooting, I admit this, even shooting dual survival, and there's other people there, and people got satellite phones, we're not going to die, right? It was scary sometimes. Like, man, we are out in the middle of freaking nowhere. Like, you get lost here, you're done. Like, you are a dead person, and remember, training scar, everybody says, well, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food, right? That's complete bullshit. There are a lot of people who have survived a lot longer without food, and a lot longer with food, and a lot longer with water. I mean, you're not going to go weeks without water, but depending on the environment, you may live 5 days, 6 days, a week, right? You're going to think you're dying because you are, but you can go a hell of a lot longer without food. We both know that. I mean, people have gone weeks without food. But if you think training scar, well, I don't need water and food and I'll just walk out. Let me tell you something. I've tried that. It don't work. Okay. I tried it on the show a few times just to try it. And I'm in pretty good damn shape. And I'm above average mentally tough. Crushed me like an egg. Can't function. You cannot function. You're going to get severe. You ever had a migraine headache? Dude, that's the kind of headache you're going to have. You're going to have severe stomach cramps, right? You're going to be nauseous. You might be even dry heaving the whole time. How far do you think you're going to walk like that?
You're not going to.
Now and here, Mother Nature's a bitch. She doesn't care if you live or die. Now it starts raining on you, right? Now you're soaking wet. It's 60 degrees during the day, 70 degrees during the day. You can suck that up. Boom, the sun goes away. Now it's 40 degrees. Now you're in trouble. You're getting hypothermia. If you don't dry your clothes out and get warm, you're going to get hypothermia. Those are the two killers in a survival situation. Those are the two biggies: dehydration and hypothermia. Those are the two things that are going to kill you, for sure. So not snake bites. Everyone gonna get by a snake. Dude, we were in Sri Lanka. They had 30,000 reported snake bites a year there. We saw a bunch of snakes, cobras and fer-de-lances, but the chances of actually getting bit by one are not that great unless you step on one. And you step on one, you're getting bit for sure. But, again, that's another, survival scar. Well, you're going to get by snakes. You're going to get, well, you may, but you need to worry about, dehydration and hypothermia. That's going to kill you first. So, scary stuff, man. It's just, I've been very lucky. I said it the other day, to a friend of mine. I said, if I died tomorrow, I can honestly look in the mirror and say, I've had a pretty interesting life, and I've learned a lot of stuff. I made a lot of mistakes, and I will tell you, I've learned more from my failures, right, and my mistakes than I've ever learned from hitting a home run. Whether it's in training or business or whatever, I've learned way, way more from my failures. And a lot of people just need to understand you can get away with that for so long until you get put in a situation where it's like, oh shit, this is real. Like, yeah. And then the reality button goes off and you're like, blah, 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 blah. I've never tried to make a fire. Oh, that's one thing. We can close with something like this. Here you go. If you're that person, just talking about survival training scars, if you're that person that says, oh, I'll just start a fire, I'll tell you what, try it in your backyard. Try it in your backyard. Go get some tinder, go get some wood, and even cheat a little bit and go get some lint out of your dryer, because that shit flames up that fast. And poof, instantly. I mean, you get a little spark on that shit and it's burning. Try it and see if you can even get an ember. Just see if you can even get an ember. And don't forget, once you get that ember, you got to transfer that into your tinder bundle. And I've watched Matt and Cody do this. It is a very delicate thing. It's like Cody says, it's like a baby. And it is. You can't just pick the thing up and throw it. It'll come apart and then you're done. You have to have so much finesse to do that. I'm not even that good at it. And I'm really not. I'm just self-admittedly, I'd have to have some pretty good conditions for me to pull it off. I don't have the finesse that those guys have. So you'll see if you try it, whether you're doing, a bow drill or, just using your hands, it's difficult. Don't be that idiot that says you can do it when you have to do it to save your life and you kill yourself and your whole family. And one of the things that we do in Wet Sea is matter of fact, I'm not even going to tell you, it is an amazing demonstration of this. And every single person that does it goes, oh my God. Because I set them up for success so well, 1 out of 10 people may get a fire gun. And they're not even using a bow drill or any kind of friction by fire. And they still can't get a fire gun. So, yeah. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on training scars.
And where can people pick up your vitamins and stuff? And do you also have vitamins for like people like that has sleeping problems, like melatonin, and like if they have like bad stomachs, like fiber supplements and stuff?
Yeah, dude. So right now we have 4 products: immune boost, a testosterone boost, a multivitamin, and a pre-workout. Those are the 4 that we came out with first, because first it takes a lot of money to do this, right? So everybody's got a budget, but that is something that we really want to look into. And I will tell you, I've taken like CBD stuff under my tongue. It has the melatonin type aspect to it. It doesn't give you the high. Like, I don't do drugs. Like, I don't, just for the record, folks, I'm not doing this to get high, and I'm not eating the gummy bears. I'm doing this to kind of turn my brain off at night, right? And there's some really, really good products out there. One of the products I can tell you, and I've known these people for years, and they've come out with their own products, really good people. And it's called Yadkin Valley Organics. And that's the name of their website. And they sent me some stuff. And one of the things they have is a roll-on for like getting your muscles loosened up, which I use every day. I've been using it and it works really, really well. It's almost like BioFreeze. You ever seen BioFreeze? You roll on, it has that like mentholyptus. It's like that, but it's CBD oil. It works really, really well. I'm really impressed with it, actually. So I really haven't tested any other, I've never really tested any other company's stuff, but theirs works really well. And it's Yadkin Valley Organics. But as far as my stuff, it's T1 Performance Nutrition. And you just go to the website, products are right there, and you can just click and buy them. And again, we developed them for people over 45 because as you get older, the supplements you would take a guy your age are not the supplements that a guy my age take, because my body stopped producing certain things as you get older, right? Like your testosterone levels start dropping and vitamin D and all this stuff. So we specifically for people over 45. But yeah, man, they work. It took a year back and forth and back and forth and back, especially the pre-workout. I think they sent me 8 samples. First sample, I don't feel anything. Add more of this. Sent me the sample. Kind of feeling it. Add 5 more grams. They sent it to me. Okay, now I'm feeling it. Little bit more. Boom, good. Add this. Oh, it's giving me gas. Back that off. Or I'm getting the shakes. So I made it right in that sweet spot. There's a lot of companies that make pre-workout. Have you ever taken it? You take it 15 minutes before you work out, you drink it with water, and it just gives you that burst of energy for about 2 hours for you to get an insane workout. But what happens with a lot of these things is you crash off of it. You know, like a 5-hour energy drink, you'll be amped up for 3 or 4 hours, and then you're like, oh, like you're just, mine don't do that. It doesn't do it. It's kind of like a friend of mine, it's like, explains like a plane landing. Very, very slow. You don't even feel you're coming off of it. So it took a long, long time. A year. Literally, it took 13 months. From the time I got my first sample to the time I said, yeah, that's the formula right there. And I had a great help from our supplier, our nutraceutical company. They're amazing. Got a great rep. His name's Todd, and I couldn't have done it without him. Like I'm not a doctor, but I know what works, right? Because I've taken this stuff since I was 18, and I know what works and I know what doesn't work. And I thought, hell, if I know what works and what doesn't work, I can do simple math and look on the bottle and say, well, this doesn't work because it doesn't have enough of this, or geez, it's got 500 milligrams of L-arginine. That's way too much. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's why you're getting gas. That's why you're getting the shakes. It's got too much in it. So, but yeah. And of course, if you want to know about Wetsy, just go to SpartanAmericana.com and just contact us through there.
Absolutely, man. And that definitely will be in the description for sure, man. And I definitely appreciate, absolutely, man. I appreciate you being on for the 3rd time. And I definitely, hopefully
your numbers are growing, bro. I saw it. You're actually getting a lot. You're getting a lot of views, man. For a guy that just started a podcast, that's pretty damn impressive.
Definitely appreciate you, man. Definitely appreciate the compliment and for you being on for 3 times, man. And you're American.
I'm looking for a 4th.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. We'll definitely have you on for a 4th time. You're
yes,
one of the best people out there, man.
Oh, thanks, bro. Wow.
Absolutely, man.
Cheers. Thanks again, Bill. Let me know if you need it. Just give me a shout.
Absolutely. I want to thank Dual Survival star Joe Teti for being on. Y'all have a good night, and God bless.